Hey guys, welcome back. So today what we're going to do is actually going to be kind of fun. It's going to be pretty fun, I hope. I just wanted to say the topic for this episode actually came from today's live stream. I used to do videos live streaming over at Ustream, but it would really lag my system real hard. So I moved over to a website called LiveStream, which I'm assuming most of you are familiar with. But if you're interested in catching those episodes, a lot of them have been recorded from previous episodes, and right in the underbar, right down there, you can actually right down there, you can actually click more information, and I have a link to the live stream. Right now, I'm trying to get back into the flow of every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time to go there for about an hour, hour and a half. We'll chit chat about comics. Come by, stop by if you can make it. If you got any questions, if you like some critiques or anything, by all means, shoot them over there. But today, I had a topic thrown at me from Alia. Her name is. I keep messing it up. Even in the chat, I kept messing it up. I apologize, Alia. But she wanted to talk about drapery. Just threw it out there. So I was just gonna throw my hat in the mix about how I like to think about doing drapery and stuff like that. I'll be honest with you guys right now. The easiest way for drapery is get reference. I know you can't have reference for everything, but right now, literally, I have not a suitcase, a pillowcase thrown up on the side of my computer for reference, and I'm actually going to tackle that in a second. But before that, I just wanted to go over some quick basics that are fun to think about. Okay, so we're going to do the basics here, okay? Let's pretend that there's like a block here, and we're going to put a piece of cloth over top of it. Done. There's our drapery. We'll see you next week. Take care, you guys. No, I'm totally joking. This just looks like a sack of meat or something, you know, like it's like a tongue that was just thrown on here or something. We want to have something with some punch to it, some pizzazz, you know. We want some fun to it. So I'll just quickly sketch in a table, you know, whatever. We're gonna keep it simple because that's not the point of what we're trying to do here. Let me just knock the opacity back so it's there, and we're gonna get into the drapery. Okay, so the way I like to think about it is working it in chunks, and then shading will really help you out here. Just get a bigger brush here. So let's just say it's like, I don't know, it's just cloth, maybe a blanket or something, and it's all bunched up over here, and we'll sag it down here. Just keep it interesting. We'll bunch it up over there. Some cardinal things to remember is gravity. It always plays a huge factor in how drapery folds or is pulled. So since it's just hanging off of a table here, essentially, you know, it could just look like that. And we'll bunch it up some more, just give it some layering going on over there. I mean, and that could be done. Maybe that's what it was. It was just the simple stuff. But the reason why I do these chunky shapes up here is what I'm able to do now is I'm able to bring them in like that and actually follow the contour of the shape that it's underneath of. And, you know, even up here, I can bring this one down like that and bring this one over here. And what I'm doing here, if you can notice, the lines are actually changing. The contour is still the same. It's still following the shape that the cloth is falling in, but I'm bringing the pinch points up, where the cloth is actually being pinched inside here, and it adds a little dynamic, you know, look to it. Even over here, I can bring it down like that. What's really cool too is if I zoom in just a little bit so you can see, I could even go in here and just make this layer effect here. If I just erase this tip right here, so let me erase that. I'll erase that whole line. Let's say this line actually came in like that. And what I could do here is I could just give it this little lip. And what that does right there is it makes it look like it's an extra fold. Like right here, it's an extra fold inside. You know, and if you were rendering, you could start to render outside the lines like this. You know, and that's essentially, you know, a lot of things like a cape. If you're doing a superhero, you know, there's his shoulders, and his back or her back. Maybe she's an Amazon or something. I don't know. You know, into his neck, and then his head would be here with his ears. You know, like that all still works just because it's falling there. I will get into some motion here as well just to see what's going on there, but that's usually one of them. The other one, actually, here's the reference I have going on right now. I'll just redraw it. So we'll see there's my computer monitor. It's all bundled up, so again, I like to do the just some rough, I guess you could look at it like a contour shape, but just chunks, you know, like you're trying to find out where the whole thing's kind of going. This is really cool, this part right here. I'm going to show you guys this. Try to remember this. This actually gets me a lot of mileage when I do a clothing of any sort, any kind of fabric. It's like a zigzag pattern like that, okay? And it can be different shapes. It can go like that. something like this, it gets you a lot of mileage. You're about to see it. So I'm going here. We're going back down. Where's this one going? This one's going straight down like that. Okay. Now, everything's got to go to a pinch point. Everything's being folded into something. And in the reference I have, it's about here. Okay. So by thinking like that, I'm just going to put some of the lines coming in. This line actually comes down here in my reference. And I apologize, you guys can't see the reference I'm working with. But this zigzag shape, watch this. This is so cool. If I were to get this point and bring it back up to the pinch point, same with this one. Look what just happened there. You just instantly made like an overlapping shape, which instantly gives it volume, gives it some weight, you know? See that? And if I wanted to, my reference doesn't have this, but I could go back in there and go on the other side there as well. If you guys are familiar with Spawn comic books or anything like that, this kind of thing's used a lot. I mean, and I could just keep going here with this, you know, just like that. And just go black, white, black, white, black. Bring that in like that. And we could even keep going over here. Just do these triangle shapes. And it never really looks wrong. It might look odd at times, but it's never really wrong. You know, and right here, this kind of effect is really good when you're doing like a gnarly villain or something like that. Maybe it's like Doctor Doom or something like that. Like you'll get, or sorry, up in here I should have done this too. Remember, just get those lines coming in to make it like a pinch point, you know, in a way. That looks really, really tacky. Let me just fix this up here. We need to get different shapes going on in here to make it look interesting. But you could even bring out another shape over there for like a cast shadow. You know, I find a lot of drapery works pretty well with triangular shapes. Okay, so there's so much to talk about here that it could go on and on. Maybe we were doing a shower curtain. This one's a pretty easy one to do. Put little shower rings on there like that. We'll go up there. What you're going to do is, we'll say there's a little ring, a ring, a ring, a ring, a ring, and they got the little holes in the curtain, like that. Your cloth is going to fall because of gravity. I think I'm actually getting a little bit of a lag here. I don't know what that's about. Okay, so there's our shower curtain. Now you guys know there's going to be this shape going on in here, right? So your cloth goes in, and what's going to happen is very similar to the very first thing that we did. So we have it all going in there like that. But because it's being pinched, you're going to have a shape that comes out. Here, let me just erase this here. You're going to have a shape that kind of comes down like this. And what it does is it starts to pull, just like we did before, at the very bottom. And you could actually do that zigzag shape, but instead of going straight, you could put a little curve on it. You know, and you could fill that in with black if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. Okay, so remember, it's got everything's going to pinch points, just like that. So your lines, they can kind of come in and out like that. Just be careful. See how I went too long with that one? It's got to go to each point, because that's where the tension is. That's where it's being pulled. And then here you could start adding some lines in like that, and like those triangular shapes, like I said. Sometimes I'll just go in like that, knock one in there like that, go back in here, knock another one in there. You know, start getting a little bit more brave with those shadows. Start getting them bigger towards where the opposing light source is. You know, you could even throw one in there. You know, and you can quickly see it coming together. And I mean, this looks pretty rough. And I apologize because I'm trying to go quick with you guys, but I'm just trying to get you thinking in a different way that maybe you might not be thinking about, or it just might be intimidating. All right, the very last thing I'm going to do here is let's say we're going to have our traditional superhero. Like our Superman ripoff here. We'll give him gigantic chest because, you know, we all like Robert Liefeld, don't we? Good guy. Alright, give him a huge bicep, tricep that doesn't mean anything. Oh my god, look at the forearm. This guy is just ripped. I wonder if this guy works out. He probably just does push-ups and sit-ups. Little nose, little eye, how you doing? And if he's got a body like that, he's probably got a smile like that. And we'll give him cool hair. Look at this guy, fantastic. Okay. So let's say he's standing in front of a giant fan. He's really hot. I have no idea why. So, and it's pushing his hair back like that. Time for the cape. Okay, so we'll say, just like Superman, his cape kind of comes up over here. how I will do this is I will usually have a shape or the main line that'll go like that. It's got that energy to it, right? Sometimes I'll get crazy. I'll do something like that. This something here might be in a little bit more action pose, but I'll show you two variations here. So the first one is we'll do that straight line, that classic straight line, and remember we got to have that. This line that I'm doing is kind of this line right here. It's like the contour kind of. It's like it keeps everything constrained. It keeps it organized. He's got the round open part for his neck, and we got to have the exact same thing with this on the other side. So his cape's essentially done there. Maybe I could go like that to tie it up, and instead of going like that to make it a totally straight line, I'm just going to bring it in like this. And now you can start putting those lines into those pinch points. And I mean, there you go. Your cape's done. It's kind of boring looking. Feel free to play around with that. Again, if you start going in with heavy blacks, you can really start playing around with shapes. I like to use triangles. Again, triangles are usually, I think people call them like power shapes. They've got a lot of impact to them. So I'm just going to delete this whole thing, and I'm going to show you maybe a little bit more dynamic one. Maybe this might be a little something Batman-y or something like that, where you get like this weird shape going on like this. And what I like about doing it like that is what we did earlier with this one, these triangle shapes where you kind of go crazy and you make your own shading with it. It's the exact same thing that we're going to do here. So get a point maybe going around, whoops, going there to the cloth like that. Now these shapes all have to overlap here. So bringing them in. You could even kind of. This is getting. This is actually pretty wild stuff here, but let's say it was just like that. I'm just going to fill this in so you can see a little bit easier. Like that, you know. I'm going to erase this side here. Just give it a sharp point. Maybe fold in the cloth like that. There's that triangle shape we just did there. You know, more pinching because there's folding happening there. Folds happening, pinching it up there. And maybe we'll go on the other side like that. Whoops, like that. See, so there's tons of ways you can get these swooping lines in and stuff like that. So all I can say is experiment. The hardest part you'll ever get is movement in cloth. But if I were to, let me just highlight this, whoops. Actually, screw it. We're going to use this here, this top one. If I were to rotate this, you know, essentially this is what it would look like if it was on this guy's back. You have to play around with it a little bit more because airflow is coming in, whoops, this way. And it's hard to stand there, even if you have a fan blowing in your face, or if you get a broomstick and you put a sheet on it and you have a high-powered fan blowing it, you'll be able to see what's happening there, but it's difficult. The only thing I could recommend doing that is if you have a camcorder, or heck, look on YouTube, type in like flag blowing in the wind or something. Press play. As it's blowing, press pause, and you can see it, because a cape, if you're doing superheroes or something like that, follows the same thing, you know, and that kind of stuff carries over into everything. So yeah, I mean, there's so much more we could talk about it. I hope kind of the tricks I showed you, like this one right here, again, I can't say enough for, is this Z pattern, is the easiest way for me to make some quick shapes in drapery. It does look a little tacky, but if you get a little creative with the shapes, you can actually get some mileage out of it. And a real good reason, or not a good reason, a good thing to think about is start small, end big. So maybe we'll get a little curve in there. We're going small, and the very last one we're going to do is pretty big. Now the reason for this is when I bring these lines up, it looks much better when it's bigger at the bottom there, and then everything here is getting pinched to the top. Getting pinched to that pinch point, whatever it is. It might be off screen or whatever, but all I'm doing is adding straight lines, all going to like following perspective in a sense, right? So if that was the whole shot, all right, so we're gonna again use the black because it actually helps quite a bit. You know, go in there, we'll start adding some stuff in there. Whoops. I mean, like you can start to see that layer effect kind of happening, and what's really cool is you can keep going if you wanted to. But this thing right here is probably the easiest type of shading to do. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go because I could just keep rambling and keep doing these shapes and all that good stuff. I hope you learned a little bit anyway, or maybe it helped you out, or if this totally confused you, let me know as well. That way when I do another video or an update video, I have something to base my ideologies on your comments and stuff. So thanks so much for watching. Keep making comics, you guys. Keep reading comics. Keep posting. Keep sharing. If you wouldn't mind retweeting this, reblogging this, share it on Facebook if you found it interesting. And let me know what else you guys are looking forward to. If there's something I keep deviating from, am I rambling too much? Do you guys want a specific topic touched? Let me know. So again, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you later.